have the hourly price chart for Intel Corporation, stock ticker INTC. So here we can see that the stock is trading under a fair bit of selling pressure at the moment. Not uncommon for the technology sector right now. Roughly for the last 2 weeks, we've been seeing a tremendous amount of selling pressure that has been directed at this part of the market. Even the broad index benchmarks have also been trading under a strong amount of selling pressure. This has been seen in the S&P 500 as well as the Nasdaq. Overall, there's a huge headwind that's currently facing the market because there are many stocks, many of even the larger mega cap stocks are trading in the downward direction, and the momentum currently seems to be focused in bearish territory. So overall, as we can see here, we do need to start to identify some price levels because this is starting to become, a bit more tradable from the long side now that we're seeing prices trade back toward their longer term lows. In particular, there are a few things that we should point out. One is that, the stock has been facing a negative momentum condition in the relative strength index for quite some time now. But recently, with these latest moves lower, the pace of decline has not been fast enough to be able to maintain or to keep up with the changes in the relative strength index. So in other words, what we have seen here is a broken trend line in the relative strength index reading. So it has been negative for the most part, but we have started to roll over out of oversold territory, as we can see here. During the July 25 trading session, the relative strength index actually reached a level of roughly 21 and a half, which would be considered to be heavily oversold. And then as that occurred, we did start to see a move higher here, and then the indicator was able to move out of oversold territory. Most of this activity has occurred since, really over the last week. So as we can see here, the indicator has started to actually move higher, while the share price has moved sideways to lower. So in other words, this would be considered to be a bullish divergence because the indicator reading is starting to point in the upward direction. We can sort of zoom in here a bit. It's a little hard to see because it starts to flatten out, but we can see here that the indicator did move out of oversold territory, even as the share price itself is moving lower. So that would be considered to be a bullish divergence, and that is, evidence of a potential turning point within a downtrend. At the same time, you can also see that the relative strength index was able to move above its exponential moving average. So this purple line here was able to move above both this white descending trend line as well as the yellow exponential moving average. So these are actually bullish signals while the stock has still been trading at its lows. So this is some evidence here that these declines are unlikely to extend for much longer. But there are some event risks that need to be discussed because there is still potential here for the market to continue trading under pressure. And this isn't really an Intel specific story, but it is a technology story, and it's definitely a market wide story. Later this week, we will have earnings reports from Microsoft, Apple, Meta Platforms, and Amazon, all in the same week. So we do have a serious round of earnings reports that will be influencing markets over the near term. So currently, we can sort of look at this moving average activity a bit more. We can see that most of these moving averages are pointed in the downward direction, and we have seen negative crosses with the 20-period exponential moving average and the 50-period exponential moving average. Both of these have crossed below the 100-hour and 200-hour exponential moving averages. So those are negative signals here, but the indicator reading itself has reached a point of exhaustion and is actually showing indicators, signals here that we could be reaching a turning point here relatively soon. The major level that we want to watch now to the downside comes in roughly 3060, which is very close to current market prices. This would be, this 3060 level is quite important for the stock. This really was the last breakout point for Intel shares. And we're currently trading, less than 25 cents away from this level currently into the Monday close. So, the potential here for further downside, could it continue? I would say yes, if we do see some negative numbers, some negative surprises with these Mag 7 stocks reporting their earnings, because this was mostly just drag on the market as a whole and make it very difficult for stocks to rally. But that's not a guarantee. I mean, you could see positive results there as well. But the current condition here, as we can see, is leading to sort of rounds of selling pressure where we are seeing sort of spikes with the bearish trading volumes. Although we should also note that these trading volumes are starting to diminish at this point. As we can see here, trading volumes are sort of reaching a minimal point here. So it's not clear that there really is much more fuel left in this downtrend rally, downtrend movement, I should say, trading movement to the downside, because we are reaching very significant support levels. Trading volumes are diminishing, and then we are also seeing, a broken downtrend line in the relative strength index, as well as a bullish divergence on the shorter term timeframes. So we can sort of quickly just move into one of these shorter term timeframes here. And take a look at some potential resistance levels that we could be seeing. So this is the 15-minute price chart. As we can see, we did trade very heavily into the Monday close. To the top side currently, the next level of historical resistance would come in at roughly 3150. This would be the latest high from this current trading session, and then following that. We do see prices a couple of ticks higher, but not much. We're looking at roughly 3156. So, movements overall here have been relatively minor. It probably doesn't feel this way if you're actively in a position at this point, because we're just continuing to grind lower here. But this 3150 level will be significant. If we're able to see a break above here, this would take some pressure off of the downside. And allow the stock to sort of reverse and possibly move back above its exponential moving averages. But a lot of this will depend on the earnings releases that unfold during the next few days. This is a very important week for the stock markets. You can make the argument that it's the most important week of the year because we are at something of an inflection point. We've got a large number of earnings releases that will be occurring right around the same time. So here's the current market update for Intel Corporation, stock ticker INTC. Investment strategies are characterized by superior risk to reward metrics that target massive market-beating returns over time. Join now to outperform the market. Lock in this special introductory rate of just $9.99 per month for the entire lifetime of your membership and start trading stocks with the pros.